Good morning, everybody. Thought I would take an opportunity. It's a beautiful morning here in good old liberal Colorado. And I thought I'd shoot a video of my new toy. So I did a video a while back of my 2022 F350 Power Stroke. The way the market is out here, they wanted to buy the truck back so they could upcharge it. So I said, why not? So I made money, drove an awesome truck for a while, and so then I just bought me something to get around town on, and it was a little Honda Pilot. I wish I had made a video on that, but nonetheless, this I wanted to get back into a pickup again to drive around, and I said this would be a good opportunity to see, now that we have a tiny little fifth wheel, to see maybe if going gas would make a lot of sense. So went out and tried to find, a Ford Super Duty. This, time in the car market is rough, and anywhere across the US, they're marking them up probably, anywhere from just being at MSRP to 5 to 10s of $20,000, depending on what the truck is. Maybe not a work truck, but XLT and above, they're marking up. So I went out and found the 7.3 Federal, as they're calling it now, probably because of some type of trademark infringement, but this is what everybody's calling the Godzilla. Big old 7.3 motor. But even though as big as it is, it's still small. You can still see the ground, which if you open the hood on a Power Stroke, you're probably not even squeezing a fart through there. But I did my due diligence before I looked at these, and went and drove it, and I liked it, and I almost bought another Power Stroke, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna try gas. But then I went back and thought, well, maybe I should drive a new Ram, because I haven't had a Ram since my old one. And all of those with the 68 RFE are on stop sale because they leak transmission fluid from overheating in the motor. And the motor is not overheating, but it's carrying so much heat, it's creating leaks, and those will then in turn cause a fire. So those are all on stop sale. Now, if you're going to get an ASIN, then those are okay, but those are even harder to come by. They probably do 10 to 1. So then I went out and drove the Chevy again, because I really enjoy the look of the Chevy. I think it's really masculine. On the outside, I love the way the custom looks, sits real high, and the packaging of the custom is really cool. But I just can't stand the seats. They're so uncomfortable. And in the overall interior quality of the Chevy, like the door plastics and stuff, they scratch if you breathe on them, and it's just, I'm not sure what kind of plastics they use, but they're just very, very cheaply made inside, so it's a letdown. And I could have actually got a Duramax custom for the price of this Gasser F250, and it just goes to show that the Ford's going to hold its value even better than the Chevys, and they are the #1 selling truck in America. And I'll agree why, because I never thought I would say it, but I do like Fords. I grew up a Chevy guy, as that's what my pops was. Now he drives, or has a GMC. He became, but I mean, those are sister trucks, so no surprise there. And I grew into Ram in the early 90s with the first 12-valve Cummins, and then that new body style they came out with in 93, 94. And then over the last few years, I bought an F-150, loved it, and then bought my Power Stroke. I've had several other Power Strokes. I had a 6.4, it was awesome. I had 6.7. I had one 6.7 back in 13, the first kind of generation of the 6.7s. So that's started in 11, and that thing was not so good. So I've had some duds, I've had some good ones and everything like that, but at the end of the day, I do really enjoy the Fords, the overall quality, and everything like that. Now, my last truck was a Lariat, so leather. It did have the softer door panels. This was hard plastic, but the softer door panels up here. It had the 12-inch screen, which is phenomenal. XLT is going to give you one of those molded steering wheels, which is fine, whatever. And we drive these at work. I drive for a gigantic company, and our store drives Ford Super Duties, and I usually drive an F450 with a V10, and it's a workhorse, but it is a dog, and it's a gas guzzling dog at best. And we have a couple Power Strokes, and and some F-150s and some F-250s with the 6.2 Boss. This 7.3 is it drives really good, has a really good American V8 sound to it. Overall, it's a it does take a lot more fuel than, say, the diesel. However, the diesel itself is about 10 grand more right now. And diesel at the pump is anywhere from $1.50 to $2 more a gallon. So I'm going to do a video just to kind of calm some fears, because it's a huge question as to what do I buy? Do I buy a diesel? Do I buy a gas? That's a whole separate video, but it's time that I finally get to it, because I've bought probably 60 different trucks over the last 15-20 years, and I'll give you the honest truth about diesel and gas. First impressions of this XLT FX for 2022 in gray gas Ford Super Duty are actually really good. It's really fun to drive. The torque is linear, so does it have a turbo? No, but it also does have turbo lag. So the power is very linear, in fact, and I don't know how it's going to pull. The V10 at work, it'll pull, but it's a dog. But that technology is old, and it was powerful for its day. Now this gas motor in this, again, they switched the name from, they actually never called it the Godzilla. Somebody probably said that from Ford and then it became known as that, but like I said, that's probably a trademark type name. But they switched it to the Federal. I'm going to call this truck the General, and get some little door placards made right there. But you know, overall, I do enjoy this truck, and I'm running the first handful of tanks on ethanol or clear gas, ethanol-free gas. This truck is E0E15 capable. So if you go to some of your pumps and it's not E85, it's just E10 gas, which usually is about the same as regular. I've ran that in the V10 also, and the fuel economy is just a smidge better. We're talking like 0.5 to 0.9 of a mile better, so nothing crazy. I'll go more into the intricacies of this truck, but this is just the start of this one. Got a couple hundred miles on it right now, and we'll talk about fuel economy in the later videos and stuff like that. First tank out, I got about 18, and more highway, but a little mixed driving. And as I taper down to just driving it in town, and it's cold here and I remote start it, it's getting about 15. But just to put it in perspective, our regular cab, long bed, standard work truck XL with the Power Stroke at work with 355 gears also only gets 15.5 miles to the gallon, period. That's what it gets. Even if you put it in eco mode and you drive it easy, that's what it gets. Now my 22 Power Stroke had 3:1 gear ratio, and I could get about 18 in town, and if I really babied on the highway, just doing the speed limit, that's what I call babying it, it got about 21. Now pulling our trailer a little bit, it did down to about 14, 15. But I will say this, over the Duramax, got 14 miles to the gallon. You know, after the first tank, it went down to 14, and if I was pulling, it went down to 10. So I'm not sure what's up with that. I know that's a 373 gear ratio, and all of those nuances will play into your fuel economy. But we're gonna see you on the next video, guys. But here is the General. We'll talk to you soon, and drive safe.